Jim Carrey is the next Freddy Krueger. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to never miss a video. We have daily film content, including movie reviews, movie news, and so much more. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button to never miss a video. Jim Carrey as the new Freddy Krueger. This is something that is kind of spawned on the internet and not unprovoked. The director of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, arguably one of the best Nightmare on Elm Streets. It definitely goes a Nightmare on Elm Street and Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors are like neck and neck. I was actually rewatching Scream 6 a few days ago, and as you know, you had Mindy, who is the film nerd, and then you had Kirby, who was a film nerd fan favorite from Scream 4, and they kind of had this moment where they had like a nerd off, which I always reference as being one of the best parts of the film. And they, they're kind of going back and forth. They said best Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. Now, yes, the original is the best Nightmare on Elm Street. However, Dream Warriors, it's like so close on there. I'm gonna call it a tie. Like, I take that back. The Nightmare on Elm Street original is not the best Nightmare on Elm Street. It is a tie between the original and Dream Warriors. And the director of Dream Warriors actually said that he wants Jim Carrey. He's actually he's interested in, I should say, directing another Nightmare on Elm Street film and kind of bringing the series back to life after the 2010 monstrosity that was. And he thinks Jim Carrey would be an amazing Freddy Krueger. And I think he's got a point there. I mean, if you think about it, Jim Carrey has that comedic aspect and that like wittiness to him, but he also can play that really deranged character. I mean, we've seen him play a vast number of characters. He's dabbled in horror, like Number 23 and a few other ones. But he really has, I think, that range to play this deranged kind of character. But he also has that comedic humor to kind of balance out the character, which really is honestly the problem with the 2010 remake, is that Freddy Krueger was always this kind of like witty kind of satire-ish villain where he had those witty one-liners and that like really kind of humorous dialogue, or that dark comedy kind of dark humor dialogue in between, his bloody kills. He always kind of had that dark comedy to him. It always, Nightmare on Elm Street always had that like subtext of dark comedy, whereas the 2010 remake was just dark and gritty the entire time through, and it didn't have that comedic relief, which I think is a big part of why a lot of people didn't really resonate with that film, because Nightmare on Elm Street is such a huge film franchise and just a huge part of a lot of people in the horror community's, foundation. I will go as far as even say A Nightmare on Elm Street is the foundation for a lot of movie lovers in general, like people who watch horror movies, not necessarily people who are in the horror community, so to speak, but just people who enjoy casual horror films. Most of them either started out with Freddy Krueger or watched Freddy Krueger at a young age, and that because Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street has such a huge impact, in the film industry. I don't say the film industry, in the film realms, or the realms of movies, that when you alter that too much, you're gonna piss a lot of people off, and you're gonna lose your core audience. And I think that was the biggest issue with the 2010 remake. And I feel like if we brought him back to direct another Nightmare on Elm Street, because Dream Warriors had that witty dialogue, you had that really intense, gory, kill scenes, but you had that witty dialogue, you had that dark humor, you had that balance. And again, I think that was really where the series kind of found its toning, with that balance and doing it so well. So, bringing him back to direct and having Jim Carrey as Freddy Krueger would instantly put asses in chairs. If you made Jim Carrey the new Freddy Krueger in a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, just his fan base alone, I think, would draw people to the theater. And as much as I dislike the 2010 remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, I would be super stoked if this became an official thing, which as of now it's not official. It's more speculation and just, well-wishing, because Nightmare on Elm Street has been dead in the water for like the last 15 years. I mean, we've gotten reboots of Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, This is another reboot with Camp Crystal Lake series. Who else we rebooted lately? Candyman was rebooted. I feel like so many horror icons got reboots. Even Pinhead got a reboot in 2023, I think it was, 2022. Leatherface got that new Chainsaw movie by Netflix, which was god-awful, but I mean, he still got one. So, A Nightmare on Elm Street is due for a re-envisioning, and I think this would be the perfect re-envisioning, and I think Jim Carrey would be a stellar choice for Freddy Krueger. What are your thoughts? Comment below. Let me know.